All right, thank you so much, Stefan. We are monitoring two live scenes. First, here in the downtown core of Toronto, the provincial SIU is investigating. It's believed to be a police-involved shooting where one man left with serious injuries. Here's what we know. It happened around 4 in the morning, the area of Richmond and Sherbourne. Police originally called here to look into claims that someone was damaging vehicles in the area. There are reports at the time that person armed with a knife. Rubber bullets were fired at the suspect to stop him. He was then rushed to hospital. 680's Carl Hansky is at the scene right now. We're going to get some more information from him coming up. Right now, we're going to bring you to a live shot at the scene. And again, you are still seeing this closure on the way as police investigate. So Richmond, from Ontario to George, is closed for the investigation. Again, we're going to be updating this story throughout the morning as soon as we learn more. And again, a check-in with Carl Hansky. All right, we're going to bring you to Brampton. Steph mentioned road closure there as well. Fire crews are on the case of this early morning fire, which has left one person in critical condition. 2 people were injured as a result of smoke inhalation after this fire around 2:30 this morning at a home near Main and Queen. While one person is critical, the other person's injuries believed to be minor. A third person in the home refused medical treatment. Right now, we don't have word on a cause. And as mentioned here, roads are closed off in the area, so you're going to want to steer clear of this stretch for now. We don't know when it will fully reopen. Steph will keep an eye on that for us as well. So this is going to be a big day. Remaining students across the province are expected to find out today whether or not they will be heading back to class in person next week. Education Minister Stephen Lecce will be making this announcement. There's no confirmed time on that one just yet. Schools in COVID-19 hotspots and remaining regions were originally expected to reopen on February the 10th. Other schools in Northern Ontario and rural areas have already returned in a staggered approach where case rates are lower. Now, coming up here in about 10 minutes' time, we're going to be talking to epidemiologist Dr. Colin Furness what safe return to class could look like. Let's talk vaccines now. The province says the Pfizer shipment delays are starting to impact vaccination goals, and the target to have all long-term care home residents receiving their first shot by Friday, that target is going to be missed.
Pfizer gave us instructions that we couldn't move the vaccine, so our hands were tied.
With the Pfizer interruptions in supply, we've lost confidence in the supply chain.
The goal has now been pushed back 5 days until February the 10th. The province's COVID-19 distribution task force says that the federal government has not provided any information on Pfizer shipments after February the 2nd. Now, you heard from him in that clip. Coming up a little bit later on this morning, we will be speaking to the head of the province's vaccine task force for an update. Retired General Rick Hillier will be joining us, and that is coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Meanwhile, the feds confirming that Canada has signed a tentative agreement with Novavax to produce millions of COVID vaccine doses here in Canada.
We expect by the end of the year to be in a position to be producing vaccines, and we're talking around 2 million doses a month. So end of construction towards the end of the summer. Then there's a couple of months to obtain the certification from Health Canada, and then we would be live to be producing the Novavax vaccine.
And that Novavax vaccine will be produced at a national research facility in Montreal. The government also providing Precision Nanosystems with just over $25 million for their Vancouver plant to produce vaccines, but that's not going to be ready until 2023. Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says this should have happened months ago. Now, Canada could be getting more than 1 million additional COVID vaccines by the end of March through COVAX, and that's the global vaccine sharing initiative. But there is still uncertainty in those deliveries, like many of the vaccine deliveries, because of regulatory reviews and production delays. COVAX is coordinated by the World Health Organization, and it pools funds from wealthier countries to buy vaccines for themselves and for 92 low and middle income nations that can't afford to buy vaccines on their own. Well, advocates and educators are also calling for wider representation of Black history in our schools. That's a story that we are covering here on Breakfast Television. So coming up at 7 o'clock. City News reporter Karen Ciolin will be talking about the movement to make education more relevant for Black students. And then in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be taking you to some live big nominations for the Golden Globes. So circle that one in your, I guess, time calendar. Is there such thing? I don't know. And coming up next in business, Amazon's Jeff Bezos is stepping down as the company's CEO, but he is not riding off into the sunset. 680's Mike Apple's going to tell us what is ahead for the billionaire.